The year is 1942. The Germans are winning the war. Their advanced Enigma machine has baffled the Allies, turning the tide in Berlin's favor. But there is hope. A secret team of codebreakers is working tirelessly in near total silence. No one knows it yet, but they are about to change the course of history. Now let me introduce you to this secret weapon. It looks like something from Star Wars, doesn't it? Well, it's actually something much older. This is the Enigma machine, the very machine that baffled the German military. They use it to encrypt all of their secret messages, making them unreadable to the enemy. In fact, these machines were so advanced they could create billions of different combinations every day. For all intents and purposes, it looked like the Germans had created an unbreakable code. But what if someone broke through? What if someone could crack the Enigma code? That would be a game changer, and no one knew it yet. But the British mathematician Alan Turing was up for the challenge. Together with his team of bright young minds, they labored in top secrecy. Theirs was a race against time. As each day passed, more lives were lost, more cities were bombed. Could they rise to the occasion? Let's find out. Before we begin, I'm the host. My channel explores the amazing stories behind inventions that changed our world. If you enjoy this episode, please hit subscribe. It really helps me. As mentioned, Turing was a mathematician who specialized in breaking codes. His mind was uniquely suited to this task, able to think outside the box and see patterns where others saw chaos. But he needed more than just a brilliant mind. He needed tools to help him crack the Enigma code. And that meant creating a special kind of machine, one unlike any other in the world. Now you might be asking, why didn't the Germans simply destroy the Enigma machine after learning of the British attack? The answer lies in the nature of the Enigma itself. Imagine trying to crack the Mona Lisa. You could take a hammer to it, but wouldn't that destroy the very thing you're trying to understand? Similarly, destroying the Enigma would destroy the encryption it produced. Without encryption, the British wouldn't know what they were looking at. So the Germans never destroyed their Enigma machines. Instead, they simply moved on to newer models. And that meant Turing and his team always had new challenges ahead of them. So how did Turing finally crack the code? It started with some pretty basic tools, ones you probably have at home. Think of them as the brains and the brawn behind the operation. First, there was the typewriter, which allowed the team to input letters of the alphabet. Next, there was the perforated panel, which worked much like a keyboard. When pressed, it activated a series of wheels, which in turn changed the settings of the machine. Finally, there was the printer, which revealed the encrypted message. But here's the catch. These machines were incredibly complex, far beyond anything people had seen before. Just think about your smartphone. Even though it's amazingly advanced, you probably don't even know how it works. Well, Enigma was similar, and that made it incredibly difficult to decipher. After all, if you don't know how a smartphone works, you can't exactly hack into it. To make things even harder, the Germans regularly changed the machine's encryption. That meant Turing and his team had to start over with every new message. It was an impossible task, or so it seemed. But then Turing came up with an ingenious solution. He designed a machine to test thousands of possibilities at lightning speed. This machine was called the bomb. Today, computers are part of everyday life. We use them to play games, work, even watch videos. But back then, the idea of a thinking machine was nothing short of science fiction. Yet that's what Turing created. The bomb could calculate millions of possible word combinations in a matter of hours. Not only that, it could do it without ever being reprogrammed. Of course, this required a lot of electricity. In fact, it took almost as much power as an entire city to keep these machines running. But the results were worth it. Soon, the bomb began to break down the German defenses. Turing and his team had won a major victory. But the war was far from over. Now they faced a moral dilemma. What should they do with this information? Should they alert the public? Should they pass it along to the military? Or should they keep it a secret? In the end, they decided to proceed with caution. After all, if the Germans found out that the Enigma code had been cracked, they would change it again, and that would only delay the inevitable. So Turing and his team kept their discovery under wraps. They shared their findings only with a select few. One of them was the British Prime Minister Winston Churchill. Upon hearing the news, he reportedly exclaimed, "It is one of the rare achievements of the human mind." But while the bomb was incredibly powerful, it wasn't foolproof. Sometimes its calculations were wrong. Other times it simply couldn't handle the sheer complexity of the Enigma code. That meant Turing and his team had to do some of the work themselves. They had to analyze the results, double-check the calculations, all to ensure accuracy. Of course, this was easier said than done. After all, they were dealing with an incredibly complex machine. There were millions of potential combinations and only seconds to sift through them. Mistakes were not an option. Thankfully, Turing had designed the bomb to be as user-friendly as possible. It provided the team with a clear readout, allowing them to identify potential matches. Then it was up to them to verify the results. But what if there was a match? What would happen next? Well, when the bomb signaled a potential match, the team would send the information to Bletchley Park. This was a top-secret location where a group of experts waited. Their job was to confirm whether or not the message was accurate. If it was, they would inform the British military and the Germans would never know it was coming. And that brings us to the biggest question of all. Just how much did this technology change the course of history? Historians estimate that by cracking the Enigma code, Turing and his team may have shortened the war by 2 years. During World War II, every day mattered. The Allies were losing countless lives, desperately fighting for survival. Thanks to the bombs, many of those lives were saved. In fact, historians estimate that up to 20 million people may have died during the war. But why stop there? Turing's invention didn't just change the outcome of the war. It also gave birth to the digital age. Before the advent of the computer, most machines were mechanical. They relied on gears, levers, and springs to do the heavy lifting. But Turing's bomb was something different. It used electricity and punch cards to store and process data. This innovation paved the way for modern computers, allowing us to store and process information faster than ever before. In fact, Turing's ideas played a pivotal role in the development of artificial intelligence. He was one of the first people to explore the idea of a thinking machine. In his seminal paper, Computing Machinery and Intelligence, he outlined the steps involved in creating a self-aware computer. Although this technology is still decades away, Turing's work laid the foundation for future breakthroughs. What's more, Turing's legacy extends beyond the world of computers. His story is a testament to the power of human ingenuity. Despite the seemingly insurmountable odds, he and his team cracked the Enigma code. They proved that with enough determination, anything is possible. Now, I want to ask you a question. Do you realize just how much this technology changed our world? Can you imagine a world without computers or the internet? Without Turing, that might have been our reality. That brings us to the end of our episode today. I've been your host. If you enjoyed this journey through history's hidden heroes, hit subscribe and join me in exploring more untold stories that shaped our world. Until next time, stay curious and keep asking questions. Who knows? You might just change the world.